Alright guys, so these are the slider settings that I am using for limited overs matches currently. Keep in mind these are universal settings for limited overs matches, T20s and ODIs all around the world, because the pitches mostly we get are flat. So there are some changes here and there which I will explain as we go along. To start off with, base difficulty is legend as usual. Striker timing, now we go for striker timing of 96, which is a bit more than what we used to do earlier, because we want the AI to play properly timed shots. As we know, we are going for realistic experience, not an arcadey experience. So wicket chance is 55, which is a slightly higher because the other settings we use are already difficult, so we need some window there. So that is why wicket chance is 55. Don't worry, it doesn't mean that you get wicket every over. This is pretty decently balanced. Ball quality is 90 and run rate is 50 for ODIs. For T20, I recommend the run rate to be pushed up towards 55. Coming to bowling, base difficulty is hardest and all three settings off. Ideal release window size is 10. Now ideal foot plan window size is 3. Now if you increase this to 15 or 20, the bowling becomes a bit easier. Not actual bowling, but you can see where to put your marker while delivering, while also the no ball and stuff. So 10 and 3 is pretty decent. Spin difficulty is 100, as spin bowling is already pretty easy. I put it at max difficulty. Bowling line sensitivity is pretty interesting. I have it at 80. I have seen gamer Pradosh slider setting as well, so I got this information from him, so thanks for this. So usually you have bowling line sensitivity at 10 or 15 when you play at higher difficulty, but what this means is that when you actually want to bowl, for example, an outswing, and you input that in your controller, you want the game to produce the maximum result. So if you have the bowling line sensitivity at a higher setting, then you will get what you actually want. If you want to bowl outswing or unswing, the game will do that for you. If you reduce it to 10 or 15, then the result might not be satisfactory. You might not get a swing. If you want to bowl an in swing, the ball might go straight. So these are the use of bowling line sensitivity. So I have put it at 80. You guys can reduce it if you don't want too much movement or too much stuff happening, but this is what I recommend. You guys can play it and let me know if you like it. Batting hardest, ball marker display time is 15. So if you want a much more harder experience, you can go at 10, or if you are looking for a hardcore experience, you can go all the way to 0. So you won't know where the ball is going to pitch. So it's a much harder experience if you are finding it too easy, as some people have been saying in my comment section every time that the batting has become too easy. So I recommend reducing it all the way down to 2 or 3. So I am happy with 15. It's a balanced display time for me. So I'm gonna play it with 15 especially for T20. For ODIs, I'll put it at 13. Now early shot timing window means that, see, if you have this at a higher setting like 9 or 10, what happens is that if you play a wrong shot that is played too early, which should actually result in a dismissal or a poor shot, will not happen. So you should keep it at 3 or 4. I am keeping it at 4 to have a slight window for me. 3 or 2 becomes a bit too hard for me, so 4 is fine for me. And coming to late shot timing window, I have it at 8, as I prefer playing late most of the time. So 8 is fine. Short timing difficulty is 96. This is pretty important because never go below 90. It becomes too easy to time the ball. So, and I recommend if you're already playing at 95, 96, you can go up to 100. Advanced shot, I don't play this shot, to be honest. I don't dance down the wicket too many times. So if you're one of those who like doing it, you can go below 60 or 65, but 70 is fine. A striker skill bonus is at 4. Foot placement difficulty, once again, is pretty important, which I have put it at 95. Now never go below 90 for foot placement difficulty, because it becomes too easy to play shots without even moving your foot. So if you want realistic experience, this is important to put at 95. If it's test matches, I might even go for 100, but this is good. Once again, ball quality influence is something I mean, it's very important. What it means is that, for example, if a bowler bowls an outswing, you should not be able to plant your foot and hit it towards mid wicket. No, the shot that you play should be in accordance with the delivery, the quality of the delivery. So you need it at 95 at least, and test matches go at 100 if you want, because you need to play proper shots for proper deliveries, which is what cricket is all about. So this is for realistic experience, so I have it at 95. All this stuff in the 90s, you can crank it up to 100 if you want, but never go below 90. 90 is the bare minimum you should be using. And ideal input power boost, if you play an ideally timed shot, which is the best shot, if you see the timing bar, if you are using it, you can see ideal, okay, poor stuff. So if you're playing ideal shot, then power boost should be at 10, or so input power penalty is at 80. For T20 I go it at 77, but ODIs it's okay to be at 80. Power boost timing window, usually I go with 0, but since we need slight bit of power to carry the ball in limited overs matches, I'm going with 1. It's not much. 1 is nothing great, but it's okay to have a little bit of leeway here. So 1 is my setting for power boost timing window. Now coming to power boost timing window for full toss, here I'm going with 15, because if you bowl a full toss, then you deserve to get some runs if the AI is bowling full toss, so you need a bit more power to hit them. So 15. Edges, so if your input is good, then the chances of edges should be just 10. For okay it's 36, and for poor it's 82. So if you're playing T20, then you can reduce it a bit to 78, 77 for poor input influence, but otherwise 82 is fine for ODIs. Low striker skill influence, high striker skill influence, I have no idea, so I've got these settings after mixing and matching them from some forums and other people who play the game. So this provides a decent outcome. Aggressive shot power boost, it at 0. If you struggle to play the aggressive shot, you can push this to 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 5. You get a bit more oomph in your aggressive shot, so I go with 0. Miss input influence, chances of missing the ball if if your input is poor or not correct will be 80% here. And miss skill influence means that the skill of the player, that for example if it's a tail ender, then his chances of missing the ball goes up to 70 as per his skill, obviously whatever is in the batting skill points that has been provided to you. So those are miss input influence and skill influence, so I keep it at 80 and 70. Coming to fielding, I don't field, so I just put it hardest. I don't care, you guys should excuse me for that. Physics, pace bowling speed minimum is 50, maximum is 73 for ODIs. Now bouncer length, I usually go with 48, but these days I've been experiencing the bouncer deliveries just bouncing too high, going for buys. Also the AI is bowling at too many deliveries that are literally unplayable. It goes above height, but still the umpire do not call it as wide, so I'm going to reduce it to 45. If you guys don't have that experience, just put it at 48, but I'm going with 45. And I don't need too much bounce in limited overs, going above head and still not being called wide. Spin bowling bounce is 33, flight is 28, self-explanatory. Pace bowling swing is 50. You don't get too much swing in limited overs. Spin bowling drift is 31, revolution 32. It's pretty balanced. Now if you want to take the spin completely out of the equation, you can reduce the revolutions to around 28. But as it is in ODIs, if you're playing in a hard surface, it won't spin much, even if 32, so you can play around with 28, 32 points. Pitch friction is 46, pitch bounce 46. Now guys, pitch friction, there is something with pitch frictions. If you increase it, the edges that you get will be much thicker, and if you decrease it, the edges will be thinner. So there is no explanation to why it is, but this is what I got from the forums and the people who actually are involved with the game, that the pitch friction, if you increase it, the edges that you get will be much thicker. So it's as per your preference, you can do it. Ball friction is 55, the grip of the ball, and ball bounce, that is 48. Shot force is 58 for ODIs, and for T20s I push it to 60. You need the ball to travel in limited overs cricket, so you need the shot force to be at this range. Once again, thanks to Gamer Pradosh for this shot force information. I've seen some of his videos. Pace bowling visual speed, I am going with 87. I usually go with 90, but I have observed that these days that the default speed looks slightly increased than what it was usually. So I was playing with 90 earlier, but now I'm going with 87 for pace bowling, and spin bowling 85. Umpiring, you can copy the settings if you want, or you can just go with the default settings. So these are my limited over settings that I'm using currently. Let me know if you find any issues with this, and let me know in the comment section after using this how you find it. Take care, have a nice one.